This episode of Boss Rush After Dark is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn more about Boss Rush Media's family of podcasts, head on over to bossrushmedia.com or patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for your continued support.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. It's your boy, LeRon, and as always, beside me, the one, the only, Corey Dirick. What's up, dude?
Hello, I was not expecting to go first, but you know what the thought of the day was the other day, LeRon?
What was the thought of the day? What was that? What day was it, actually?
It was, I don't know, a couple days ago, maybe over the weekend. Did you know that sap is just tree cum?
Oh, why do you do that?
Yeah. You brought that back. You brought that up earlier. Yeah, I remember.
I tap my maple tree, which that sounds dirty, to make maple syrup, and now that's all I'm going to think about when that stuff comes out.
When you tap
Wait.
it,
You actually have a maple tree?
I have a maple tree, and I tap it. Ayo. And then I boil
comes out.
Hold on, we'll circle back to that in a second.
We'll circle back to that.
Let's repeat it again.
When she's not busy tapping her maple trees, she's here right alongside us on the Boss Rush After Dark show. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, I'm just a woman of many tricks and trades.
Mm-hmm.
I make my own maple syrup. And other things.
Yeah, a pole in your living room, right?
No, but I have a pole in my bedroom.
I was in the bedroom. Whoops. Okay.
You're going to put a pole where the family sits, LeRon?
Stranger things have happened.
Fair.
I mean, it's not like my son doesn't know that there's a pole there. He's probably climbed it and used it more than I have. So.
Get him started early, I guess.
And also, back in the house, not going anywhere. We're not kicking him out, and we're not letting him leave. Pat Klein, what's up, dude?
I wish somebody would tap me like Stephanie taps her maple trees.
Oh,
with a few swift knocks.
You know, makes the juices flow, then why not?
So, Stephanie, tell us real quickly, how do you refine like the maple sap to make your maple syrup? Is there a process?
Yeah, there is, and I'm sure it could be. I'm definitely not at pro level, but I bought a kit. Everything needs to be sterile. You don't want to kill your tree, and depending on how big the tree is, depends on how many taps you can put into it. I just do one. You just tap a metal thing into it at a slight angle. You put a pail, the sap, and you usually do it in the springtime where the temperature wavers between freezing and unfreezing. You get a crap ton of sap, and you need to boil. I've had to boil the sap all day, like several gallons, just to make like a tiny bit of maple syrup. So,
jeez,
it's a lot of work. I mean, it's rewarding, but it's a lot of work. You could technically drink the sap if you don't have
from the tree.
Yep, as long as you don't have your immune problems. Same thing. Like people need to be careful if they have immune problems with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's sweet. I've had sap water before, like sold products. I have no problem with it. It hasn't gotten me sick or anything. It's not my favorite thing to drink. It's just like sweet water, I don't know. I'm trying to do the whole, I'm going to be a little bit more sustainable, but I mean, come on.
You're literally raping a tree. How are you being sustainable?
Excuse me. I take care of the tree where its scars heal, and I can tap it again the next year. Oh my God.
Damn.
Wow. I will never think of that the same again. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any way I can help.
Okay, everybody. How are we doing tonight? How's it going?
I was having a good night.
Paxel left.
Yeah.
Hey, blame Corey for that.
Hey, look, she's the one talking about how she takes care of something before shoving a large something into making a hole out of it and extracting the tree's bodily fluids.
Listen,
to boil like a serial killer.
It needs to be settled.
Oh, God.
Damn.
Title of her sex tape.
It needs to be satisfied.
Women can rape men too.
Oh, man.
I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah. It's after dark, everybody. Anything goes.
So nobody partook in any shenanigans this past week.
Lots of shenanigans. My son had a birthday. He turned 8.
Mm-hmm.
I made him a Minecraft cake. I made fondant for the first time and created a Minecraft cake. He had
what is fondant? I feel like I should know this.
If you watch like fancy baking shows, it's a very like stiff frosting, so you can kind of mold and cut and shape things better than like a creamy type frosting. I'll share pictures. I was pretty proud of it. He had a small party at a local arcade, and then I wrapped it up by taking him to an amusement park called Canopy Lake Park in New Hampshire. Then we drove up a little bit further after staying at Airbnb to hike the White Mountains and see what New England foliage has to offer. So very busy, which kind of explains from the previous Boss Rush recording why I haven't played any video games in the last week.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to see some pictures. Corey, Pat?
Nope, not me. Not this guy. My dad got a new TV and I hooked it up for him. It was also his birthday, so I guess we went over there for breakfast. And I hooked up his new TV, and it's really nice to the point where I now need to find a way to break my current TV to get this one.
He said break the TV.
I mean, to be fair, the one that's in my office is like 15 years old, so it's bound to go anytime soon.
Well, I mean, you should replace it before it goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember you talking about. I think I remember we were chatting about it. Like it was a 65-inch, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think 65 is. I think 65 is a sweet spot. Like I cannot go below 65-inch television.
Yeah,
but crazily enough,
55. So
was that
the one in my office is a 55?
Well, I mean, how big is your office though?
I mean, it's a good size. It's a good size for my office.
Is the man cave? Like I see you have a chair in the back. Like, do you hang out in that chair and watch TV on it?
Sometimes, but this is where I play video games. So
you're up close.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a 55-inch might be overkill, but at the same time, like I couldn't see myself like if it was in a situation like that, I definitely couldn't go lower than a 55-inch on that,
Yeah.
If because that's the case, I would just get a really hooked up gaming monitor,
Yeah. Well, my office is way bigger than it looks because there's like, I mean, I don't know, it's like as big as some people's like studio apartments. It's pretty big. So, like, I mean, you can look all the way over there. That's my wife's desk, and so not that it's too exciting, but it's large.
So. You've never seen that side of your house before.
I know. 'Cause usually, that's where I stick all the crap in the that was in my chair, so I don't look like a messy moron. But,
All right, yeah. So like, would you just go ahead? Would you just replace it with another 55-inch, or would you go for a 65?
Oh, I would get a 65-inch
wall mountain.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mount it in here though, because the wall in front of me is like kind of fake and would not hold a TV. But I would mount it whenever.
Well, unless you put it in studs, then you're fine.
There's no studs. It's the in between the wall and this office. The garage is on the other side of the wall, so it's like cement on the other side of this wall.
Okay.
I would have to get like the long, like 12-inch brick nail, like the nails or screws that are made for, mounting something on brick, which I don't really want to do, especially in a place that we rent. So.
Okay, cool. Pat, what about you?
What have I been doing? Man, What haven't I been doing?
You said, what haven't I been doing?
I don't.
Watch out, ladies.
And maple trees.
Yes.
And now I've watched a lot of TV. Like, I don't know why I've gotten in a mood where I just didn't want to play a video game for like a day. So I caught up on
One
the
whole
Castlevania, like 24-hour period. So we'll call it a day. Basically, I caught up on the Castlevania Nocturne. I finished the Cyberpunk 2077 Edge Runners. I am working on Gen V. I just did episode 4 yesterday. And started Loki, the new Loki.
I enjoyed this premiere episode of Loki. I really liked it.
It was good. Obi was awesome. I love.
Yeah.
He's I can't remember his name. Kiwan K or something. Short round from Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I'm gonna butcher his name if I try to say it. So yeah.
Yeah. I loved his character. That was his character's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see, how this season goes. But yeah, it's just catching up on some of the TV series that I've kind of missed this entire summer and getting ready for the new ones like the Fall of the House of
Usher
is absolutely amazing.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be down on that one.
Reviews have been saying it's absolutely phenomenal. Like, this is like the best series that Flanagan's put out. And also Invincible. Like, this, apparently there's a second season coming out here pretty soon. So I'm trying to.
Oh, pretty soon, because I didn't know there was a date for it yet. Like they've been talking about it.
I thought it was either this month or November.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of stuff for you Trekkies out there, Star Trek Prodigy was saved. So Netflix will be picking up the second season of Star Trek Prodigy because, like, I'm not sure what the fuck they were thinking at Paramount Plus, but yes, more Star Trek in my life. So yeah, I think it's slated to start in 2024. So yeah, more Star Trek. Hey, the movement did it. There was a hashtag Save Prodigy movement going on. Once like we found out Paramount was just stupid. And yeah, it worked. Perseverance.
Invincible season 2, first half is November 3rd, and then the second half is going to be early 2024.
Half? Like, how many episodes are they doing?
I don't know, but lately that's been the thing about splitting episodes or seasons in half. That way you can extend the stream period. Stranger Things did it. Witcher did it.
Oh yeah, Witcher did it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was me just doing a lot of TV. Gotta say that ending to Edge Runners, whew, that was powerful.
Yeah. The last weekend I spent a whole bunch of QT with my boyfriend. He's in a dodgeball league. So last Sunday I went out and caught a game. See him and his team play. Like, that was pretty. It was pretty cool. Like, it's always great to like see like how much sportsmanship and athleticism like somebody like you're romantically involved with has, and he didn't disappoint. Yeah, and then we hung out with his team. We went to a bar, and like like just hung out, had a couple of drinks and stuff. Had this really cool like mixed frozen cocktail thing. It was half pina colada and half strawberry daiquiri, and this is a whole mix. So like they blend it together, and then like they give you like a really good straw so you can stir it all together and make like a giant swirly and stuff. Like, oh my god, like that was some good shit. And by the way, if you want to get nice and drunk off of just a few drinks, go to a gay bar. Yeah, go to a gay bar. Best bang for your buck as far as like drinking goes, because like
Yeah,
yeah,
they ain't shy with their pores.
yeah, like you gonna like two drinks are gonna have you right. um yeah, so yeah, there was that. I also did a little bit of TV, like I said earlier, like I did catch the premiere of Loki. I just got through watching this series called The Other Black Girl, which is on Hulu. It's based off of a book, and basically it's got some craziness going on to it, but I was hooked and I was intrigued. Basically it's what happens when like you're the only person of your kind that works in an office. So like for you, Corey, like just say you're working in an office where you're the only white guy in there, and then all of a
That was
sudden like
me.
and then all of a sudden another white guy like gets hired and works alongside you and stuff like that. And so like you get to see like this bond between the characters, and then you get to find out that something crazy is going on. So yeah, so like in this case, like the show follows this lady named Nella. She's the only black person that works in this publishing firm. That prior to that, the only other person of color before her was an editor who like she up and disappeared like back in the 80s and stuff like that. And then a new girl comes along, another black girl and stuff like that. And at first everything seems all hunky dory, and then weird shit starts going on. So it was pretty good. And I just realized, Stephanie, did you ever catch Red, White, and Royal Blue? Did you ever watch it? You should
Mm-mm.
watch it. We need to talk about it. You should talk about it. You should
Red,
watch it.
so it's called Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah, it's a gay rom com. But
Ooh, okay.
but I think you will. As a matter of fact, I think everybody on the show would enjoy it if they watched it. But I'm not gonna force the straight guys to watch it. Not if they all don't want to. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. Let me know when you watch it. So I'm looking for another excuse to rewatch it again. Like
Okay.
I was obsessed with the movie when after I watched it the first time, because I didn't know a lot about it, but I saw previews for it, and then I was like, oh my god, I want to see it. Then it dropped, and I didn't realize it came out when it did. So I was like, wait, it's out. So I watched it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with this movie. So yeah, like
All right.
so yeah, Stephanie, I asked you to watch it, and Corey and Pat, like if you guys want to watch it, like hey, let's watch it all together and let's talk about it. But yeah, so that's it. I think you guys saw like I built a bunch of Legos. Also yeah, like this one right here. Buzz Lightyear Starship.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
Like here's the thing about me and Legos. I love like spaceships and aircraft and stuff like that. So like if I usually see one on the shelf, like I'm most likely gonna buy it and stuff like that. I also bought one of the Ninjago jets, like from Legos Ninjago line, which is pretty cool. It's back there on my bookshelf. But yeah, so yeah, I had a lot of fun. I did some things. I got the house for a little while.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm actually listening to a pretty cool audiobook right now at work. I just randomly chose something that was recommended to me. It was called The Poppy Wars. It's
The
set
Poppy
like in
Wars.
the Poppy Wars.
Okay.
It was a trilogy that I could buy with just one credit from my Audible subscription that I have. and it's like set in this fictional China,
Mhm.
and it's a student. The main character is Rin, and she goes to a military academy because she wants to get out of her town. Otherwise, she's gonna get married to some dude that's been twice divorced already, and she doesn't want that to happen. And it's really cool because it dives into like the Chinese culture of like military strategy and like just how important uh, your family legacy is, and because she's considered a orphan, and they mean nothing to the people in China. Or sorry, I forget what the fictional is like. Uh, I forget what the fictional name of this place is, but it's pretty cool. She's learning about the gods, and apparently the gods are kind of real and can deliver power onto people that like pledge themselves to them. So there might be something like around that, and they are obviously at war with the fictional Japan as well. The Mugans. That one was easy to remember. The Mugans. But yeah, it's been very interesting.
You said it's called the Poppy Wars.
The Poppy Wars.
Okay, I'm gonna. That sounds interesting. I'm gonna save that somewhere.
Yeah. Usually when I have an audiobook playing, like I just kind of like mindlessly listen to it, but I've been actually listening to this and paying attention to it more than some of the other ones I've just kind of had for background noise.
Great. And
So
just so everyone knows, I accidentally typed in the Poopy War, not the Poppy War.
Wow.
did the
Nice.
results disappoint?
Yeah, kind
Or
of.
not disappoint? Yeah.
Let's see. Add to cart. Okay.
The Poopy Wars.
All right, so I have a question for you guys, and this is our segue into actually getting the show started now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for y'all. How we're gonna talk about lying tonight. We're gonna talk about the art of lying. Let's put it that way. And so I want to know, like, first of all, like, do you guys tell lies? I know it's a strange question to ask, but there are a lot of people that they do their best to be as honest as possible and stuff like that. But
Yes,
so
Mm-hmm.
I tell white lies, especially to children. I think it's just kind of a thing that you have to do with children, actually.
mhm.
Um, White lies, like when it comes to preserving people's feelings on small insignificant stuff. But other than that, and I'm not saying it because I want to sound like a goody two shoes. I just generally don't lie outside of that because I'm a very shitty liar. I cannot conceal a lie. I just show all my hands. I can't hide it. I cannot hide. I'm very uncomfortable. I just visually show that I'm lying, so I just don't bother. I'm like, I don't lie. So again, unless it's something like the whole, does this outfit make me look fat? Nah, you look great. Like that level of lie. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, Pat. Well, how about you?
Well, I am one of those people. When I was younger, I could lie like no other. And you know what? Over the years, you learn what lying can actually do and how it can affect people. And especially when you're the one who gets lied to constantly, you learn to appreciate truth, and you don't really want to subjugate other people to lies. So I try to be as honest as possible.
right. And
Um,
I don't know if this has happened with you, Pat, like in the past when you've thought like maybe lying would be like the best alternative because the few times that I've attempted the lie on a more serious scale, I guess, it compounds and it became very exhausting to maintain a lie and maybe have to make up other lies to support the lie. And I feel like
mhm.
it just snowballs bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's hard to keep track of what I'm lying about.
I, I mean, I know there's definitely those cases going around. Usually I don't ever get a lie to go that big anymore in my life. So, like, I honestly, I hate lying. It hurts me, and it hurts. Like, I know that if a person found out the truth after being lied to, like, it's, you can't, it, it's really hard to gain that trust back, you
Yep.
know?
Hmm.
Yeah. Plus, like, I think it's a lot easier. Well, easier in the sense that you don't think about it or are scared about lying or, like, whatever,
Hmm.
when you're younger than when you're older. Because I think, as you, like Pat said, as you kind of grow older, like, you begin to appreciate the truth because of life experiences and, you know, life experiences, bad relationships, you know, it can destroy friendships and relationships too. And I think you just kind of over time are more conscious of that, and that it's wrong, and that, sure, I mean, lie to my kids all the time, right? But, like, that's, I think there are, like, tiers of lies, like a white lie to your children. Oh, we don't have any cookies. And there's, like, clearly a huge thing up in the cupboard that you're just going to eat the whole thing later. Uh, but, in terms of something that could potentially hurt somebody, that's kind of where I stand, I
Yeah.
guess, at this point in my life. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't care. I lied all the time. I got so good at lying, like, in my early 20s, like the early 20s, that, like, sometimes I was like, man, I think I believe myself in this lie. And, I hurt people by lying, and I just, like, and then I was in a relationship that she lied to me all the time, and I just, you learn to appreciate the truth again, like Pat said, because of that.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
I will admit, I'm a pretty big liar. Like, I mean, like, yeah, like, definitely back when I was younger, like, it was nothing for me to tell lies, because there was always a, how badly do I want to be in trouble, or how badly do I want to be caught, or do they just need to know this shit, like, yeah. So, like, I definitely got to a point where, like, yeah, I learned how to refine lies, and, like, I'm one of those people that, yeah, I can definitely, like keep the lie going and actually, like, hold up the narrative for the most part. The only time the only time I'll stop holding up the narrative is when I just get tired. um, yeah, but yeah, I think I'm a very seasoned liar. You know, now that being said, like, I don't tell, like, super big lies or nothing like that. Like, now, like, in my adult age and stuff like that. You know. Yeah, like Corey, Corey and Stephanie, I do the white lies, because, and also sometimes I lie because it's just easier to, like, just, you tell them something, and it helps your day get along. For example, like, hey, what'd you do today? And, like, like, if you did, like, one thing, like, you basically exaggerate or lie and be like, oh, I did all this and that, because, like, there wasn't much to do anyway. So, like, if you look around, it looks like a whole bunch of shit got done anyway. Stuff like that. And, there's all sorts of, so I I will literally just tell somebody something, just because because depending on what they ask me, I'll tell them a certain thing. So, because I know, like, it'll end the line of questioning right there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, there was one thing, like a lying habit, I guess. I don't know if you want to call it that, that I have picked up in adulthood. I think it falls in line with white lies though, and I love my parents, so just gonna preface that, but there are a lot, like, for those that have followed us, and you guys know personally how tough my especially my mother can be. I'm sure out of love, but it can be very tough. that I feel like I have to lie or lie by omission with stuff that either I do, like say I'm just going out, like on a date. Like I'm not even doing anything nefarious, like going out and doing drugs or something crazy. But I will actively lie and say I'm not doing anything that night, or I went to do a work presentation just because I don't want to hear the lecture, and I feel really bad. But it's super like I get it. Like me, sure, lecture me while I'm young and dumb, but I am of age to kind of be able to go on a date and not get lectured that I'm not dating a doctor or a lawyer. Like I can't, and I hate to say it, I sometimes will go out of my way to lie about what my plans are, so I don't hear it.
Hmm.
Oh no,
Right?
nothing wrong with that at all, actually. And I like that you mentioned lies of omission because like that's going to be another question in a little bit. Um, but yeah, you're kind of like me. You tell a lie because you know it's the fastest way to end the conversation. And like honestly, is that lie hurting? Is that lie hurting the person that you just told? No, not necessarily. And if it is hurting them, like based on the scope of like whatever lie you may tell them, it's like I think it hurts more that they just want to be so into your life and stuff that like it's more of the affront that you actually told them something that wasn't true that like upsets them the most when it's none of their business.
I just think like I'm not saying that what you're doing is wrong stuff because I know your mom and I know like how stubborn she is, and personally like if I was in your shoes I would just say, hey, this is who I am, accept it or not. And I know she will probably be like, well, I don't accept it, and then you guys get non-talkative for like a month. But
Well, I feel like that causes the bigger fight.
yeah, that's the thing. Like in Steph's mom's case, Steph's mom does not acknowledge the fact that she is a bitch.
Pat said it. I didn't say.
um, like, like the knowledge and like the advice that Steph's mom has is 100% correct in Steph's mom's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I wouldn't be the one who would be lying, but at the same time, I'm also not the one that would really be talking in
Mm,
that case. Um, like I would probably go with the whole lie of omission and just not say anything at all. I don't
no,
know. Is that considered lying if someone asks you a question and you don't answer it?
I don't think so.
I've never, okay, we'll go into the lies of omission. How do I feel about that? Lies of omission. Because I remember one time, and maybe it's because like I admit I'm a practiced liar. So someone hit me with a lie of omission is still a lie. And I'm like, no, I don't believe it is. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like I said earlier, there are some things you do not need to know. You know, like you're asking questions that, like ultimately, is it going to satisfy you knowing them? No. Like, for the most part, no. Now if I'm withholding information that's vital or important to you, I get that. Like then you can be mad about a lie of omission. But like when it comes to like me personally, what I volunteer or not volunteer to tell you, I feel like is respecting my own privacy and stuff like that. Now, yeah, like professionally, you shouldn't omit stuff. From especially if some type of blowback is coming. You know, um, or in situations where like there is no reason to omit like the truth and stuff like that, like police reports, like
mm,
things that like have serious repercussions down the road and stuff like that. But personal lies of omission where like it deals with me personally, I don't have to tell you all my shit. So you know what? If you like going back to that, what did you do today? Like if I tell you that I did these things, but I mentioned but I don't mention the fact that I might have broke a dish, while washing the dishes or whatnot. Who the fuck? Who's it? Especially if it's my dish. Who the fuck's it hurting?
I guess for me, the way I probably think of things a little too logically is, well, for the same thing goes with like actions. Like, okay, how do I go? Like, if by omitting to do something causes harm, is it still a bad thing? Like, someone gets really hurt and is physically hurt and is asking you for your help, and you just look the other way and walk away. Is that wrong? Well, only in my perspective, that's a wrongness due to omission. So therefore, if I extrapolate that, then lying of omission is still a lie. But with that being said, am I going to go hard on myself or other people for that? No, because I kind of put that in a tier of white lies. I'm like, unless there's a much more severe consequence, a lie of omission to me is still a lie, but it's more of a lesser severe one. Because you're right, LeRon, depending. Like if it's something that's involves with my own personal business, I can choose to withhold that. Not everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those like moving needle
It
gray
feels
area.
it feels more pleasant, I guess, in that regard than telling someone to just mind their own business.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, saying mind your own business will in itself just start something altogether.
Yeah, typically, yeah. Yeah, Pat, what's your take on lies of omission?
I mean, I will probably leave something out, like if it's something like that, it's just not gonna really help the situation at all, whether they know or not, and in fact, if they know, it could just make the situation worse. I might just leave something out, and just cover it up with, like, instead of like telling them like what I did, I'll just be like, yeah, I did some things. That's it. Just be vague.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I did stuff.
I did some things. Yeah, I didn't jerk off for 3. I didn't jerk off for all of 3 hours today. It was more. It was more like 2.
Penis.
I gotta assume that a chafed penis would really hurt.
Yes.
It's not pleasant.
Yes.
I think it feels great.
Yes. Come on. It's like a clitoris rubbed raw. Come on now.
Or chafed nipples.
Oh God.
Can't say I've had those.
Yeah.
I got them a lot when I played sports.
You're supposed to wear Vaseline under the jersey, dude.
No, I mean I wore yeah. Well, I don't want to get into that right now. That was
table that for another day.
Corey, what's your thoughts on lies of omission? Like how are you?
I don't know, man. I kind of
I'm pretty sure you omit the truth from your children all the time, but
me admit the truth to my children.
Omit.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said admit. Yeah, no, I don't. My kids are like they have no idea. They just like I said earlier, like there's no cookies in the cabinet. There's your toys are gonna disappear if you don't go to bed or whatever, and it's
or,
like no.
Where is my like something that you threw away? Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm actually really bad. I turn around on them. I'm like, Nikolai, what'd you do?
It's actually really funny. My daughter has caught my wife throwing away some of her old crafts like a couple of times, and she's like, she runs up in like a real panicked mode. She's like, "Why are you throwing that away? Why are you throwing that?" And my wife's just like, "Oh, that was an accident. I'm sorry."
To make room for the new stuff that you're gonna make me.
So like she waits. She has to wait till she like goes to school now, and then she'll like clean house, and like, oh, we'll keep this one, but this one sucks, so we'll throw it away.
And by the way,
macaroni's moldy. Okay, it's got to go.
Why are you gaslighting your son at such a young age? Like, I don't know. What did you do?
It's like, it's your toy. You clearly
How'd
moved it.
how'd you let that happen?
You'd be like, toys disappear when you do bad things. So Nikolai, what bad things did you just do?
It clearly must be my Asian side
Mhm.
just slipping through. That's how.
Okay, so roundtable question here. Would you consider yourself a good or a bad liar? I think Stephanie, you already led and said you were a bad liar.
Bad liar. I cannot.
I mean, now or like at the high point of my lying life,
Lying
I guess.
career.
Yeah.
Okay,
My-
okay. Like
my
if we're gonna do it like
prestigious
that,
lying
let's.
career.
If we're gonna do it like that, then yeah. How good of a liar were you back when you were a liar?
I would say in my early 20s, I was a pretty good liar, but it
Or
probably
you had all the hoes.
it got me in trouble a few times. That's fine. You ever use fake names?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no, I've
I-
never used a fake name.
I used to. When me and a guy that I used to be friends with when I worked at the restaurant named Greg, we would go out like 3 or 4 times a week and like pretend to be other people. Oh, it was a good time.
No, I've never done fake names. Like I've always made up fake people though.
We're aware. No, you pretended to be a woman online once, LeRon.
That is true. That is well. Hold on. That's called being a guy in real life. Come on,
Huh?
Huh?
that's an internet
Online
persona.
games, maybe.
Girl, GIRL, guy in real life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's honestly the reason why I do not play female characters like actively, unless there's no choice, like it's the default is a female character, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Unless you're
such
trolling
an
a guy on the other side of the line.
Well, that's like an unfair assumption because when I get to choose the gender of what character I play as, I don't know why, but I always gravitate as playing as a male. Maybe I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe it's because I'm like projecting like my male gender role tendencies without like because I'm not a biological male. But I don't know.
Depends on the game for me. Like if there's dating elements, I will be a male. That way, I'm hitting on the females. Just because I'm hetero. But I'm not opposed to being a female. Like I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I felt that was Cassandra's story and not her brother's. And in that case, I also had sex with every single person that I could possibly have. If there was a romance option, I made it sure. If there was a romance option, I chose it for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And that made for some very questionable decisions because you can get to the head of the ancient order, and one of the endings is a romance option. So it's like, do you kill her, do you let her go, or do you sleep with her? It's like, huh. Well, I made the decision.
You can make all 3 of those choices a game, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
You could
Well, I know this. Like speaking back to like why I used to play with female characters, like the one of the most transformative like experiences I had was like playing the original Metroid and finding out the character you're using was actually a female, and I thought that was pretty cool. So like I just like started just like I don't know, like cross gendering, like whenever I played games, and then like sometimes back when I was like in my heyday of like playing as female characters versus default male characters and stuff like that. Like when we got like games like Monster Hunter, for example. Hey, like if the female armor looked better than the male's armor, like I'm probably going to pick a female character. And technically, there's still like a lot of female armors in Monster Hunter that look better than the male versions of the other armors. And I'm like, nope, I learned my lesson.
I think one game I regret playing as a male character would be Cyberpunk 2077. I feel like the female view was actually more of the main character.
I feel like the female V was actually more intended to be the main character. Just like I feel like Fem Shep was supposed to be the more of the male character than Shepard, which I find kind of wild because like like they basically marketed it as like every game until Mass Effect 3 had John Shepard on the cover.
Well, I actually wasn't he on the cover of 3, but if you got the collector's edition, it came with the steelbook with her on the front or something like
Maybe
that.
it was. Maybe yeah. You know what? I do. Yeah, I do believe like the special editions did have have Fem Shep. Instead. I believe you're right. But I remember this is the first time seeing where it actually had the female version of Shepard on the cover. I remember that, and I was like, yeah. But I mean, if you look at the dialogue options, Fem Shep just went hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a kind of a round table, Red Robin. Sorry, what is it?
Yeah, it's
Is
a
it
round
called?
table, but
Whatever.
It's a round table.
About body language when people lie. Do you think that's pretty reliable, or you think people can still mask that? Because I took a course from like an ex FBI person on how to have conversations with people and spot body languages. And there's always you could tell if someone's lying if they're covering their mouth. Like basic stuff that you hear. Do you feel like that's
Which way is it when your eye rolls a certain what
up
direction
and
is
to
it?
the right? I think.
Up to the right? Well, yeah, that doesn't work on me because like I typically go up and to the left.
Well, anytime I'm thinking at all, I'm always looking up. So
I always
when
look
I
up.
think I'm
Yeah,
upright. In fact, that's like my brain spotting spot.
Corey, quick, Google it. Make sure I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
But like other thing is like the person tends to want to cover their mouth or touch their nose when they're lying or avoid eye contact.
Oh, when people have a tell, like playing poker.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You're not going to know that if you just met the person. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
I could just be very insecure and therefore, I have my hand on my face or I don't look you straight in the eye.
Well, that's why I asked this question, because when I took those courses, they make it sound like these are definite signs someone's lying. And I'm looking at them like, well, sometimes I do that when I'm not lying. So like, how reliable is it?
Yeah, like sometimes when I'm just like assessing my brain for things, like I typically will look off in the direction, because I don't know, I'm not sure if it's a human thing or if it's something we learn from watching TV and stuff. Because like when people are contemplating on TV shows, like they're always like staring off in the direction or off into space or something like that, and I'm not sure if it's like we pick that up from like stuff that we've seen or if that's an actual natural human thing that happens, stuff like that, because. Corey, did you find it out?
So a quick Google search says the direction of their eyes. A 2012 study published in PLOS One debunked the myth that people look to the left when lying. A study at the University of Michigan found when participants lied, they maintained eye contact 70% of the time.
Oh, I was wrong.
Yeah,
on both accounts.
yeah. Well, and I guarantee you the reason why is because people are always told like look at me and tell me that you're and tell me the truth.
Or maybe they feel like
look at you and they tell you something and then they start smiling and laughing. That might be a lie.
No,
no. That's actually a nervous tick.
Yeah.
Well, it could be possible. I just looked it up. It says you detect a frown or a smirk, but just for an instant. Micro expressions can reveal if someone's lying to you. Actually, that's what my son does. If I could tell he's trying to lie, tiny little smirk. Tiny. I'm like,
He's like, I gotta come to something quick about this one.
When I experience people lying, they tend to over-explain themselves too. Like, really over-explain. And I'm like, okay, well, that's
it's like they're trying really hard to sell you.
Yeah, that's a lot of information for you. Dropping a glass of water and dumping water on the floor. That's I don't need a novel of how that happened.
Exactly. Stick to the point.
Yeah, so here's just a couple of body cues that I feel like could easily be mistaken. So like, I don't know, fidgeting, crossing your arms, touching their face, covering their mouth, feet shuffling. I don't know.
That's just being.
I think everybody does any of that.
I fidget so much, I can't keep my hands still.
Yeah. Like I'm one of those people. Also something like like I'm so hyper focused on like my surroundings and stuff. Like 9 times out of 10, when I'm having a conversation with you, I'm zeroing in on a whole bunch of random shit all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly, that's not a Geiger counter if I'm telling you the truth or not. Because honestly, like I'm like yo, like that truck's about to hit us. We should move, you know, because I saw that because you couldn't because I'm standing facing that direction and stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think it's funny the acrobatics that people will go through to try and spot you in a lie when 9 times out of 10 you're telling the truth.
Right. I just say, just go with your gut whenever you can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I consider myself a bit of an empath, so there's definitely a different kind of energy you can feel when someone's lying to you.
Uh,
But I like to also give people the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
and like when I really catch them in the lie, then that's them,
well, well, okay, all right. You bring up a very good point here. Like, how upset do you get when you've caught somebody lying to you?
I'm pretty upset, but I'm also not gonna like point it out, be like, "Why are you lying to me?" Or unless, okay, I won't do that. Like, I can get a feeling that yeah, they're probably not telling me the truth here, but it's when you catch them that's hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
how really to explain it.
I probably would take it pretty well seriously. I would get upset by it because I feel that telling the truth is pretty basic, and if you meaning the person wants me to take them seriously as a mature adult, then a mature adult should understand that the truth will set you free and all that hokey stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like a lie, a blatant lie. And again, I'm not talking about a white lie, like someone said that I look good in a dress when I really didn't. That I don't give a fuck. But if it's a real blatant lie, a big one, I do find as a violation of trust. Like there's certain things that I find very important to my values, and catching someone in a lie is upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Oh, one caveat though. If they admit to it up front and seem sincere in their apology, I will get over that upsetness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people will kind of deny, or drag their feet in acknowledging the lie. That just is what makes it worse. But if someone just says, "Ah, you know what? Yes, I did, and this is why I lied. I'm sorry about that."
Mm-hmm.
I'm more likely to be like, okay, let's talk this through. We're adults.
Yeah, yeah.
It would depend on the severity. So it'd be like,
Well,
hey, where were you last night? Oh, I was with my friends. You know what? I'm sorry. I didn't tell you the truth. I was actually fucking the girl next door.
okay, you're right. Like obviously, it's
Let's talk about this.
depending on the
Yeah.
severity.
But no, I agree. If they're willing to come up rather than just keep digging the pit, then there's a little more leniency there. But it
Now,
depends again on the situation.
now I will say this for myself, and this is after admitting like what type of liar I am and stuff like that. Like I would be more. I wouldn't be upset or mad as opposed to just more like dismayed, especially if like the only way I can see myself like being really outraged by it is like if you just went to all sorts of like like acrobatics, in the lie you told me and all this stuff and stuff and things like that. But and I guess it's because like ultimately like in my mind, like it's like like I kind of get it, like I get it. Like this is like a certain level of embarrassment, or it's something that like you already like beat yourself about the consequences and stuff like that, and be like, well, next time, don't tell me the lie, you know. But like 9 times out of 10, unless it's actually harming me, like I'm probably not going to be that upset. I'm just going to be like, dude, why you didn't have to lie about that, you know because I'm one of those people. I understand, and I guess it's because I'm a seasoned liar.
Okay. Then what happens if they lie to you again?
I hope my boyfriend doesn't listen to this podcast.
Mhm.
He's going. My boyfriend has like a really analytical mind and stuff like that, so he will probably question everything for the last 3 years that we've known each other. You know, he would probably question it, and surprisingly enough, I think I've only really lied to him like 2, maybe 3 times. You know, and it's not been anything like super super crazy.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I'm telling on you. Just kidding. How about you, Corey?
Yeah. I know he's hitting some stuff from me though.
Oh.
I haven't really been in a position where people would lie to me recently, and by recently I mean probably like the last like 3 or 4 years. Just because I don't go anywhere or hang out with anybody. And my wife could lie to me. I don't know. So she might be a good liar. Who knows? But yeah, but like I mean, if somebody lied to me, I kind of it depends on the lie, right? Like to be fair, I lie to get out of things all the time. Like I don't want to go anywhere. I just don't want to be social a lot of the time, right? And so I'll say like sometimes my friends text me to play Destiny, and I like if I'm like really tired, I'm like, I'm busy tonight, guys, or like I am doing something else, and then I'll just get on and play another game. And sometimes I forget to turn myself appearing offline, and then my friend will text me and be like, I thought you said you weren't playing tonight. I'm like, oh shit, or like something like that. But if they like really like told a huge lie, I would probably be pretty mad if I found out, but I haven't put myself in that position recently because I don't know, it's different when you are a parent and have a job and trying to keep track of 2 kids and trying to spend time with your wife and doing all this too, right? Like I just don't go anywhere. So I don't know. That's my answer.
Mhm.
All right. You know what? I was going to ask this question, but I feel like this would actually make the show longer than it is. I was going to ask what was the biggest or worst lie you've ever told, but you know what? We will say.
Yeah, we're gonna need a new episode for that one.
A whole new episode for this. But I tell you what we will do is like we'll leave it up to our listeners. Like hey, like sound off. Like if you can make it anonymous too. What's the biggest or the worst lie you've ever told? Like the biggest lie being was something that was like just like you could not believe you got away with it. And as far as the worst lie you've ever told, come on, we've told some pretty bad lies. It's like wow, like I can't believe I just let that shit out of my mouth. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'm a big liar. So next time, like any of y'all talk to me in text chat, and you'll be like, okay, he's full of shit. I can tell now.
We already knew that, LeRon.
I should have lied and said I was not any type of liar.
Ooh. That's some mind games there.
Yeah, yep, it is.
Don't do that.
It is. But you know what isn't a lie? It's time for us to get out of here.
I want to lie down in bed. That's the only lie that I like.
Yes.
Those are the best lies.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. This is it. This has been another wonderful episode of Boss Rush After Dark. Yeah, we were a little serious this time, even though I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure it was an entertaining topic for you guys out there. Definitely, like I said, like sign off. Like, hit us up. On social media, let us know like what's one of the biggest or worst lies you've ever told. Like, give us something to talk about. Like when in the next episode we come back, we'd love to hear some of your stories and stuff like that. Before we head out, though, always be sure that if you're listening to the podcast on audio form, or if you're checking us out in video form, hit the show notes. Like get all the information you can for how to get in contact with not just us, but also like Boss Rush Network and as a whole, and also learn some information about becoming a patron. By the way, our patrons for this episode, we love you guys. Y'all are awesome.
If you want to be loved by us, give us $1.
We're cheap.
We are so cheap. But it's the biggest thrill of your life. Let's just put it that way. All right. On behalf of Pat, Stephanie, and Corey tonight, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight. And remember, please come back and listen to another episode of Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show of the network, where we always talk about things that aren't always content friendly for the anchor parts of the network. Wow, I almost flubbed that. We love you guys. Signing off. Have a good night. And you know what? White lies are okay. Just don't hurt anybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Goodbye. Watch out for that tree come.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.